We've been hearing that from the Congresswoman for a while. Texas Congressman Mac Thornberry is the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, welcome. Very good to have you back on the program today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
So one of the biggest criticisms of the president with regard to ISIS has been the lack of strategy. It appears that over the last several days, there is a new sort of renewed focus effort that is formulating here, and it was articulated by Ash Carter yesterday in that 200 special forces, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, those along those lines would be now sent to Iraq and Syria to carry out missions to take out ISIS leaders, to release hostages. What do you think of the strategy?
Well, I think Martha McSally was exactly right. 200 more guys does not a strategy make. Now, a number of people have been calling for forward air controllers, a greater special operations presence for some time, but that alone does not make the difference against ISIS. What we really need is for the president to say what the objective is and then empower the military to accomplish that objective. And instead, what we heard yesterday is even if they want to put 100 more guys into Iraq, they've got to go ask the president's permission. The White House controls everything, even at the tactical level. And that's why a lot of people really have doubts that the president wants to win.
It was pretty stunning to see Ash Carter, the defense secretary, and then General Dunsper, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in that hearing yesterday. Basically, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said ISIS is not contained. He was asked that question point blank. That's the opposite of what the commander-in-chief said a couple of short weeks ago, sir.
Yeah, and it's just common sense. Look, I think Secretary Carter and General Dunford are really good guys who are trying to do the best they can under the circumstances. The problem is at the White House, and you have so many things in military operations micromanaged from the White House with the sort of attitude that the president said, ISIS is contained, they're the JV team, etc., that it puts the top military leaders in a tough place. But what the result is that we still don't have a successful strategy to degrade ISIS.
You know, we tried to train Syrian rebels. We ended up training about 6 of them for $500 million. So now you've got, you know, you have to, in some ways, you know, feel for the special ops forces who are being sent in, because we know that they will be determined to do their job. They'll be determined to carry out their mission. But do they have the backup? Do they have the structure around them that they will need to carry that out successfully? And if there's any doubt that they don't, is it a mistake to send them in?
Yeah, no, you're articulating exactly what's on the minds of a lot of members of Congress. We have tremendous confidence in our special operators. They have done such important, good, heroic things over time. And yet they need to have backup. They need to have medevac. They need to have logistics. They need to have support. And if the president is the only one who can authorize an additional 10 people to go into Iraq or Syria, are they going to get the support that they need? And if you put them in a place where they don't have the support, are you unnecessarily risking their lives? Those are exactly the questions the Armed Services Committee is going to hone in on as more details about this new deployment come to light.
Well, I would imagine the White House would say, look, we're doing what people have been clamoring for. We are now putting more people into the fight, and clearly we have boots on the ground. That argument seems to be a moot one at this point. So they would say to you, look, we're doing exactly what you asked. You know, how many people would you like on the ground, Congressman Thornberry, might be their question.
Yeah, and my answer is however many it takes. I want a strategy that will be successful. I do not want to manage by the numbers. As a matter of fact, a Vietnam veteran talked to me yesterday after our hearing and said that's exactly what we did in Vietnam. Some people could not spend the night on the mainland because that would put us above the numbers that the president allowed to be in country. And he was getting memories of that when we hear about the president micromanaging our deployment in Iraq and Syria. It's not a question of numbers, it's a question of a strategy to be successful, of the president who wants to and is willing to do what it takes to defeat this enemy. I'm not sure we've heard that yet.
Congressman Thornberry, thank you very much. Good to see you, sir.